Don't you dare say I'm gonna make it, 'cause I don't believe a word you say.
I'm Quan.
What's up? You got Rain here?
Let's just get right into it. R.I.P. to my dog Rob, Catelyn, Lady Talisa, and everyone who lost their lives at the Red Wedding. Right when I seen the dude who played Mr. Filch at that kingdom, I knew some shit was gonna happen. Just a old, crusty, bitter bastard who was mad because Rob didn't want to marry his daughters. And I honestly felt the most terrible for Arya because she was literally right there. She was gonna go see her mother and her brother again and could have had at least a little bit of happiness ever since she's been on her own. But that old crusty motherfucker screwed all that up.
I don't think anybody watching the show actually predicted it. Like it was out of nowhere. It was a surprise for everybody watching. Like you just can't deny that. Like nobody could tell me like, yeah, he's gonna die in this fashion, blah blah blah, whatever. At this time, I could say you could probably say, yeah, I think he's gonna die, but like not right there at this time. Like um, he was like really one of the biggest parts of the show. Not just him, like Rob and the faction, the North, and they just pretty much cut off the figurehead. Rob did wrong Walder in a way. He did lie to him. He said, "Yo, we need to cross your bridge. Like, let us through. It's the only way we don't blah blah blah." And then he's like, "Okay, one condition: you gotta marry one of my daughters." He said, "Fine." My man said, "Sorry, I'm already married. I'm cuffed up." And then Walder was like, "Okay, all right." Kind of messed up, but I mean, you can't lie. It makes you think, like, what if he didn't marry old girl and he actually stayed true to his promises? May not have happened. But it goes to show you that you know Walter was not like just he wasn't the guy we thought he was.
Jumping to my man's Jamie. Now, I'll admit, I will still never fuck with you after what you did to Bran, but you starting to come around a bit, man, because as much of an entitled prick as you are, you actually use some of that privilege to actually help out Lady Brienne. Because even when you actually got to Harrenhal and they were about to send you home and they said, oh, she stays, you actually had a amount of decency to be like, no, we're going back and I'm actually going to take her with me. So you're starting to change yourself a bit. Props to you.
Honestly, since the start of the show, um, Jamie, like I liked Jamie at the first. I definitely liked Jamie at season one. When he pushed Bran out of the window, that was the turning point for me. You could always tell that Jamie wasn't even up until this point before he met Bran, before he was captured. Period. I could tell Jamie wasn't like his father, or he wasn't like Cersei. I should say he's not like Cersei at all, and he's not like arrogant. He's never been like a horrible dude. But I mean, as you can see, he would do horrible things to uh to protect his family and his family's image. And I'm sure he regretted pushing Bran out the window the moment that it happened. But it is what it is. It shows that Jamie he's not like his sisters. He can show compassion. Honestly, if that was Cersei in that situation, and you know, nah, she would have just said fuck it. We've always seen glimpses of Jamie as like not a bad guy. And it's going to be interesting moving forward of how they like push that even more. Like, what will Jamie do next?
Jumping to my boy Bran. One thing that I actually really liked about this is when John was out there with the wildlings and they were gonna kill him, he actually was able to take a look into his new powers because Bran is a ward. So even though he's become crippled, he is far from helpless. When he actually was able to get into those wolves' minds and was able to help John out by killing him, and it's showing now that it's that Game of Thrones is actually taking a different direction to where we actually have more people with actual like supernatural powers, and it's going to be very interesting to see what Bran does in the future.
it shows us that Bran has like a, you know, is on a different journey than everybody else. Up until that point, he was just chilling. He had nothing going on. He's never really left Winterfell. He's just been chilling. And then it made it woke up the viewers like, you know, like bam, Bran has something special about him, and he's not just just chilling while Arya, John, all these other people have big impact. Like they're just going through something. Bran is also going through his own thing right now. He's on a journey. He's discovered he just had powers, and it's going to be interesting to see how that plays into the story.
Speaking a little bit more about John, to see him with the wildlings and to actually have to go through certain things, like he's finally actually got a girlfriend now, Ygritte, and that's literally made a difference to where he's actually starting to rethink a lot of his decisions about what he wants. Because even when they wanted him to kill that one dude from the Night's Watch and he couldn't do it, and he ended up attacking them, he ran out on old girl and she tried to kill him. So I have a feeling that John's gonna see her again, but it's not gonna be the same as it was before.
I looked at her as like it's really going to cause going to make him have a decision. So I mean, as we know, John expedition beyond the walls, and John ended up getting caught up because he didn't kill the wildling, which was the girl, like he was supposed to do. Just kill her, get over with. He ended up lollygagging and not only jeopardizing his life, him and I think it's Qui-Gon. At this point, John is taking a lot of L's right now, in my opinion. Like at this point of the season,
Oh yeah.
in the show, I should say, he's taking a lot of L's. He just had my man's die. He got captured. Nobody's fault but his own, honestly. Can't even blame anybody else here. His own fault. And then he's fallen in love with the girl. And we previously thought that he was just gonna join the Wildlings just so he could survive. Eventually break for the walls and get back to the Night's Watch as soon as he can. But it's like now he's got this girl. Like, how deeply do you feel about how deep are your feelings for this girl? And you're gonna have to come. It seems like there's a decision coming up. Like, are you gonna choose the Night's Watch or are you gonna choose this girl? He's broken his vows for the Watch, so you can tell he's not like super honorable when it comes to his vows. Like, I feel like if it was like a super honorable man, or if he would just be like, yo, like, no, like I'd rather just die, right there on the spot. Instead, I mean, he is doing anything he can to survive.
Jumping to King's Landing, you already know I gotta talk about my boy Tyrion, because even with him actually being in love with old girl named Shay, his father Tywin is hell bent on keeping the family power in place by telling him that he needs to marry Sansa and telling Cersei that she needs to marry Sir Loras. Now, obviously, you can tell that Tyrion's mind ain't with that shit because he likes old girl, but because of his family name, he doesn't want to go against his father, so he marries Sansa anyway, but still trying to keep his dedication to her. Now, honestly, I get the aspect of the medieval thing, but when it comes to like how we may look at it, as you could say, quote unquote, more modern day, like I definitely wouldn't rock with it either. So I have a feeling that all this is actually gonna come crashing down, and someone's actually gonna get real hurt by this.
Tyrion, it's a very awkward situation, is what I'll call it. It's not. It's very awkward for Sansa. I mean, she really wanted. She was looking for Sir Loras, and she ended up getting Tyrion, which is almost the exact opposite of Sir Loras. Sir Loras, he's a knight, great fighter, whatever. You have Tyrion, he's short, not much of a fighter, but he's smart. As you can see, Sansa can see that Tyrion is a good guy. She can see that he's not as bad as, Joffrey by 1,000%, honestly. So she's warming up to him, and she really, you could tell that she likes that he respects her, and he's not like demanding her to have sex with her, blah, 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 like whatever. He's, not even sleeping in the same bed as her. It's going to be really interesting to see how Sansa changes, because I know This attitude is not gonna stay forever, or that attitude that she once had gonna stay forever. Because pressure makes diamonds, and she's under a lot of pressure in King's Landing. So it's gonna be interesting to see what she becomes and what she evolves into from all this.
Jumping back to Arya, I gotta give her props in that last episode when she came up to those soldiers and she caught a body off the rip. So we know that she doesn't fear anything. And even back when she got captured by the Brotherhood without banners, she wasn't even afraid to approach the Hound or the Witch and tell her how she really felt. And that just lets you know that she's destined to do big things eventually.
Arya is my favorite character. I probably say this in every season review that we do. Honestly, I love the relationship that she had with Ned and John. They're respecting her, whereas a girl being a warrior during that time is like, inconceivable. You know, so it's very. I love the support that she got from her family, and I love how confident she is, brave, resourceful. There's so many things I would say about Arya, and for some, like at such a young age, for her to have all these attributes, she's destined for greatness. And even at the age, she's still not done, uh, stacking up what she's her feats in the show.
Now, if you haven't seen the video that I did giving her props, it'll be in the link down in the description. But she is turning into quite the conqueror. All the way from capturing Astapor to freeing the slaves in Yunkai. And that ended scene where you seen everybody really hoisting her up and basically calling her mother. It literally just shows that she's becoming a very powerful person and is going to be a force to be reckoned with.
At this point, like you can see, like she's evolving a lot. And I mean, I would say, like, I love her personality. She's a, you know, she's a rebel. She's a breaker of chains. Uh, I would compare her to even to Arya. She's doing and acting as a woman, shouldn't usually do. She's freeing these slaves. She doesn't want anybody to be. She's very passionate about it, even when it doesn't seem very plausible or the smart thing to do. She goes the extra mile to send a message to the slave owners and free the slaves. And I can really appreciate that. She's going to be a serious threat if she decides to head to Westeros.
I definitely got to give season 3 a 9. Amazing plot twist, amazing storytelling, amazing character development. They are on fire right now, and I can't wait to season 4. What would you give it?
A 10. Not even with the second guess, honestly. It's a great season. Like, it had everything. There's just so much drama, so much everywhere. There's nothing they could have done better, in my opinion.
For,
Perfect season.
for sure, my brother. Well, we definitely enjoyed this, and we will be back for a season 4 review. And let us know what y'all think. Comment down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And always remember, peace and love.